What's going on, guys? It's Icy Rhythms, and this is my review for Quantum Break. As I normally do for my reviews, I'll start with the graphics. Quantum Break is a great looking game. In my opinion, it is one of the best looking games of the generation. Character models, lighting, great texture work throughout, and some of the very best particle effects in all of gaming. Color me just a little bit shocked that they had this game running as well as it does on the original Xbox One. It's just that the PC version isn't without its problems. The optimization is so average, I'd probably even tell you to max this game out and lock it at 30 FPS. I'm not sure how I played most of the game at 60 frames a second. This game has major immersion breaking stutters when transitioning from the gameplay into the cutscenes. I suppose most of the options are decent for a PC port. I do, however, recommend leaving the upscaling and film grain options turned off. Both of those will have this game losing a lot of its better details, looking like a blurry mess, and I'm not trying to have all that.
Whoever's here ain't left yet.
How the fuck did Joyce take out those strikers?
He's obviously not alone. My bet is there's so keep your eyes peeled. Stay clear!
I really enjoyed playing through Quantum Break. The downside, I would say, to that is I wish Remedy would have done a much better job of actually letting me play the game more. I found that I spent more time in a cutscene using the in-game engine or some of the live action cutscenes. Some of them I feel last 20-30 minutes, and for me, like, immersion is just completely broken at times because I want to play the game and it's spending way too much time telling me the story through these cutscenes. You know, I want to walk around with the protagonist and maybe one or two of the main characters or something, or maybe like a side character that's explaining what's going on from time to time, and that's not what you're getting here. You are getting a lot of moments where there is just too much separation from time played versus time watched. A lot of the cutscenes wouldn't have seemed so bad if I had spent more time playing. For me, there needs to be like an 80-20 split in favor of the gameplay, obviously. That's normally what I would prefer. 70-30 isn't bad. When you get to like 60-40 in favor of the gameplay, I'm probably gonna start asking some questions. As I said, you know, on top of the performance issues with the game, this is just immersion breaking. The engine really shines at times, and I'm honestly kind of tired of games that do things like this. If the game looks and plays well enough, why am I cutting to, of all things, live action stuff? Tell me the story through the game engine. Find a different way to tell all of this stuff that you've written. I understand that a lot of time and effort went into writing a story like this, but it's just a shame that I felt sometimes I was spending more time watching these cutscenes, whether it was in the game engine itself or some of the live action stuff that just seemed to go on forever. I'm not really feeling that. That's not for me. Quantum Break is at its absolute best once you've upgraded a few of Jack's powers, which you'll accomplish by picking up these things called chronon sources throughout your time with the game, and then reach an area where there's 5 or more enemies. You have to play it for yourself, but it's a lot of fun tearing through these enemies like butter with some of these attacks. You really got to see it. You really got to play it for yourself to know what I'm talking about. You won't always be shooting guys and flying through the air with Roman Reigns Superman punches. It's a third-person action game. It's got a little exploration. I was kind of surprised. There are collectibles and some interesting moments where Alan Wake is referenced. I thought it was a pretty good touch given that I'm a fan of both games. I want to say that there are slight puzzle elements. There are moments when you're slowing time down or reversing it for a short time to complete a task. Like I said, Quantum Break is tons of fun when you're actually playing. It can even be challenging if you're not careful about when you use your powers. Timing is everything. No pun intended. Well, maybe just a little bit.
You're due for your treatment. I'll find who's behind this.
Find Jack. That's our priority. Get your best man on it.
There's more. As you know, Jack's level of interference led to unexpected complications. Witnesses from the university were transported here. You need to take a look. We can't afford any further obstacles at this stage of the plan. Now, I see two options.
Remedy knows how to tell an excellent story, and in my opinion, Quantum Break is no different. In this game, you're Jack Joyce, brother to William Joyce, and at one point, friend to Paul Serene. The game mostly centers around these three characters, and you pick up on that right from the start. Everything isn't what it seems in Quantum Break, and I think that's because there's so much jumping around with the time-bending nature of the game, whether you're talking about past, present, or future. I could see how a lot of this would be a little complex for some. I can definitely see people playing through this game, completing it, and then feeling a little bit confused, even when the game does its best to try and explain things. I mean, once again, we find ourselves in a entertainment scenario, whether it's with games or movies, where people are playing with a technology they don't fully understand. Many mistakes are made, a fracture in time occurs, and the threat of possibly the end of time because of the game's antagonist. I guess you could say that this game has more than one antagonist, but I don't want to spoil anything. I don't want to say much beyond that. There are moments where you're playing as Jack, of course, the protagonist, and for a short time, you're actually given the option to make a choice with Paul Serene, the game's antagonist, and that can be a little interesting. It's a great story with some damn good writing for a video game. I don't think you need to be a physicist to fully understand what's happening here. I'd recommend watching all the cutscenes and not to skip anything, and you should probably pick up all the collectibles you find along the way and just try and pay attention. I'm telling you guys, the voice acting and the talent behind the voice acting is some of the very best in all of video games, so it shouldn't be too difficult to follow along. You might even say they spent more money on the live action cutscene stuff and paying some really good actors than they did making sure that the actual gameplay and mechanics were top notch. Quantum Break definitely has its plot holes. It's far from perfect, but I was able to suspend the disbelief enough to enjoy the story in this game.
Thanks for the heads up. Gotta move. Gotta move. No, 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 no.
Whatever Quantum Break is, Microsoft needs more of this for Xbox and PC, or if they're just going to go back to making all Xbox exclusives in the coming generation, they need more of this. It is a very good try. It is a very good game. Is it great or amazing? I don't know. All of that stuff is subjective. It's in the eye of the beholder. I can't tell you what's a great game, what's an amazing game, except when I play something that I know is great or I know is amazing. And Quantum Break is a very very good try. It just needs a lot more gameplay and a little more polish. It does feel a little rushed, and the PC port is unacceptable when you start comparing it to other stuff Microsoft has published on PC, like Gears of War 4 or Sea of Thieves. Microsoft need the talent. They just need more teams that will present ideas like these to them. Games that maybe they wouldn't have tried or, funded 5-10 years ago or more. The game plays it safe most of the time, right? It's not really doing anything super new or innovative. It's just really fun to play when it actually lets you play. It has great production values, and I think this game is a really good idea of what a lot of Xbox fans really want. They want more games like Quantum Break. They don't have to be third-person action games all the time with time-bending mechanics, right? We're not trying to say copy Quantum Break. That's not what we're doing here. It's the writing, the visuals, and the gameplay when it works that makes games like this special. People aren't asking for Uncharted or God of War clones from Microsoft. They just want you to spend a lot more money on games that take chances. Quantum Break is a great start. Microsoft, do more like it.